Hello and welcome to our next software training webinar as well as question and answers to AgenaTrader. In this webinar, another let's say 45 to 60 minutes, I will discuss charting possibilities in AgenaTrader, so what different charting views you can access. And we have various charting views. I will go into that a little bit later. A little bit about me. My name is Daniel. I'm working for AgenaTrader since 4 years and I'm a head of support and education on the software, and I'm mostly doing these webinars or other webinars that I'm organizing to help people understand the trading software much better. Well, our timeline for this webinar, at first we will discuss what the possibilities do we have. We have a single chart, we have a chart group, which is a group of charts, which is one symbol in various different time frames. For example, a 1 minute chart, 5 minute charts, or 5 range charts, 8 range charts, whatever you set. We have a list-based chart group, which means you have a list of different symbols like a portfolio. And you can view 1 time frame charts or up to 4 time frames. There is also a tab-based charts container, which means you have a list of charts and it's shown up in tabs in up to 4 time frames. And the next one is quite interesting. It's a chart gallery, which has various different possibilities. It includes all the previous ones, but it opens up the limitation of up to 4 time frames, and you can have unlimited time frames for 1 symbol or more symbols at the same time. The dynamic scanner is something else. The dynamic scanner works together with the signal scanner itself, and whenever the signal scanner finds a signal, you are then receiving it in a closed environment, in a closed container where only signals are shown, and so you can just focus on the signals and don't have to worry about other charts without signals. Once we have all the chart containers, we will just discuss what are the differences. I already have a video online which is discussing the single chart and all the charting functions which are available, so the toolbar, the action bar, the context menu, and we will here continue with the groups, with the list-based charts and so on, and see what's different there. And let's see if we find some other chart settings which could be interesting for you. Before we start, of course, the disclaimer that everything I show here is just educational purpose. An educational purpose. It is never an invitation for live trading. If you trade the financial markets live, you do this on your own risk. All right, then let's go over to AgenaTrader. Okay, I have here some strategy running. I'm just canceling that. All right, you might already know this this Workspace, which starts up when you start AgenaTrader the first time. And you have here already a list-based charts. This is called the list chart group, and as you can see here in the top, you have the various tabs from indices, from the DAX 30, from the Dow 30, ES, the futures instrument, and so on. So most of them are here list-based charts. So you always have a list of instruments and charts next to it. In this scenario, this also contains the scanner and analyzer, which allows to find signals. So the list chart container is a list, which is also the scanner, and various charts next to it. And this one would be the single chart, where you only have 1 symbol inside and 1 time frame. You can change the time frame whenever you want right here, or add some additional time frames if you don't find the one you are looking for. And of course, like I mentioned, we have some more So if you, let's say, want to start new, which I think it's the best way to show you, we will just create a new workspace with main workspace new, and let's call it like a test workspace for the webinar. Okay, and as you can see, only the top and the bottom remains, and in the middle I can start adding my charts. So if I go to main, I can go to new chart container. And here you have all the charting possibilities, as I already mentioned, the single chart, the single chart group, list chart group, and so on. So we already discussed this one in a video on our YouTube channel. You can find it and watch it. It's about 45 minutes, 40 minutes or something, which is discussing all the charting functionalities and how you navigate in a chart and what you can set and add and remove and stuff like that. We will now just simply go through these other containers that you can see what we additionally have. So when we click on it, we can now configure the chart. Instrument means the symbol, the instrument you want to look for. If you know the symbol, like the Apple symbol we had, you can just start in typing, and it opens up this search function here and gives you a proposal on what you typed in. If you want to change to name, you can add the name of the symbol you're looking for, or security you're looking for, the ISIN. If you're not quite sure what you want to see, you can open this button right here. It opens the symbol search. Here you have some additional features for searching, filters like asset class, filters like exchange. And you can again start in typing right here, and it opens up the proposals for you. If you don't know what to type in, you can also look here in this tree menu below, where you have the options to find CFDs, currency, the forex market, futures market, indices, options. Options are not yet available in AgenaTrader, but we are about to implement them. Stock markets, ETFs, so you can really go by asset class and even by exchanges and sectors. And then you have some dynamic lists. These dynamic lists are always changing. They have some different ways. They are basically looking into chart formations. We are getting this information from an online service. And the EUD stock screener is basically giving us this information. Screener presets is again the EUD stock screener. You can set up a screener preset and search for fundamental and technical data, and this list can this filter options can be saved as a preset, so you don't have to do it all over again. And we have these static lists, which are lists of symbols, and they are always the same, like the Dow 30, DAX 30. I mean, if there is some changes in these lists, we are updating them, but mainly they are staying the same, like the Nasdaq 100, the S&P 500, and so on and so forth. So you can also search inside this list and then find, let's say, a company, a security you want to see charts for. So let's just select one of them. Cisco Systems, you can select it, it becomes blue, and either click here and select or double click it. And we have the symbol right here. So first step. Second step, the amount of bars loaded, the history, either in bars or a time period. And you can select up to 4 time frames for this group, for example. And if you don't know, if you cannot find your time frame, I have to go with the end of day data because I'm having the end of day feed. But if you want an additional time frame, you can go here to add, and you can change from minutes to hours to volume to ranges to high Kinashi and so on. So you have really a wide option of different charting views. Template, again, something very nice. If you already created some template for a group, which is color of the chart, which is basically how the chart looks like, what is loaded in the chart from indicators and stuff like that. You can save this information as a template and reuse it for opening new charts. So you don't have to do this all over again. But I already explained this in the introduction video. So Cisco, this opens the default view. If you don't like it, you can always change it, also shown in the video. And this is the way the chart container for a single chart group looks like. So it's up to 3 or 4 charts even. I will show you how to add and remove some. And you can maximize it here, minimize it here, and that's quite it. The action bar was also discussed in the other video. So here simply this maximizing, minimizing is something new because you have various charts. Another option which is new in these groups is this button right here for chart group. Here you can add, let's say, add a chart. So now additional time frame has been added. It added another month. I could switch it here or search for another time frame. Again, gets back. I can delete a chart and then select which one. As you can see, when I select one, it shows me a red border on the chart selected, and once I click on it, it is removed. The same counts for setting a style. If I don't like the way it's viewed, I can have a horizontal view, I can have a vertical view, I can have left, right, right, left, and so on. So you can really play a little bit on what you prefer in your chart view. You can print stuff, so you can either save a PDF or even print it with your printer. So you can print the single chart you select here or the complete group. You can also save an image and publish it on a social media like Traders Yard, for example. You have the public mode, which is hiding the order size and the profit loss you made if you have a running position. So if you want to share your chart, you can switch to public mode and you would not expose your account size, for example. Template, this is also very interesting. So after you change the colors, added your indicators, your time frames, and everything you want to see in a chart, you can now save it as a template with save as or save as default, which means save as means you just creating a name, a template you're reusing. If you go to save as default, all the future charts you're opening will look the same. And this is a quite nice option if you have really just one chart view with your 2-3 indicators, with your signals and everything inside, so you can really save it once in for all and you don't have to do all the settings and templates and stuff. Synchronizing is basically I don't think this option is very commonly used. Synchronize. Basically, that in case there are some discrepancies, I think there is an option that it always checks for synchronization, and you can also click it. Well, this is basically everything you have to know about the chart group. So this new symbol appears in the chart group. You can use it. What's next? Let's go again to main, new, chart container, list chart group. So here we have now an option to not only enter a single security or single futures contract or forex instrument. We can say I want to open the Nasdaq 100, I want to open the S&P 500 and all these different symbols at the same time. So let's open the S&P 500, for example, and select again some time frames. Okay, and here we go. You see the list on the left side. You have 500 symbols open and subscribe to your data feed in a very short amount of time, and you can just walk through this huge list of securities and find the one you need. You have the scanner. So the listed group is something very, very special because you have a very powerful scanner which can scan these 500 instruments or even up to 3,000 instruments for entry signals you have built it, you have scripted, you have bought. So this is basically quite an interesting tool, and we have to, the first time loading always takes a little bit, but once we are done, then this is fine. So what options you have here? The same option I just explained for the group. You have this group symbol, so works really completely the same. You have the enlarging and minimizing and maximizing of the charts and everything else. But the very special thing here is the scanner on the very left side. And the scanner has a toolbar on the very top which shows you the options the scanner has. There are additional hidden options, for example, or deactivated options. So the scanner is quite an interesting tool where different possibilities are available. And I think there will be a webinar, we'll do a webinar which simply focuses on the scanner alone. But for once that you see it, you can, for example, add an analyzer session right here, which allows you to scan, for example, in a different time frame for a session. I have here Markttechnik is the German word for Dow theory. Standard session is something you always have. And this allows you to scan for signals. And in the standard session, what we have is, what we have implemented is a few, let's say, testing signals, examples, so you get an idea what's possible with AgenaTrader. And I'm loading this one. It will take some time. Maybe I will switch over to a new data feed. This Google feed is not the fastest. It's for free. On the other hand, so let me just check the data feed. Okay, I have to switch it off right here and add stock, add, yeah, I don't need CFDs. So let's try it now. All right, it's happening. So I'm back. And as you can see, the data feed from AgenaTrader is an Austrian company, it's quite fast. Everything is loaded, all signals are shown, and as you can see, these are these example signals which are appearing in the scanner, for example, in a 1 minute time frame. So I can also switch to 1 minute now and see charts in a 1 minute time frame. I could even switch to range bars, but I wouldn't suggest range bars and tick-based charts to be loaded in a huge list of 500 symbols, because it's a huge amount of history being downloaded, huge amount of ticks being received. So you should load tick-based charts only, let's say, in about 10 to 20 different symbols at the same time, as 20 is quite a lot already. Okay, so this is something you have. You have the analyzer. You can have more than one of these sessions. You can also remove it again, and you can reload the full scanner with a click. You can show fundamentals of Yahoo. It opens up the page, for example, this symbol right here, and it gives you the fundamental data for this market. And you have some other various options where I will make a webinar for a scanner only, because it would take me 45 minutes to just do this one. And yeah, so you have a scanner. This one might be interesting. You can edit the scanner and adding indicators, scripts and conditions and stuff like that. So just for your info, this is the edit button right here. Okay. Next interesting part. Let's go to the tab chat group. The tab chat group works by opening in the same way. Let's say we open the NASDAQ 100 this time. Again, I can view up to 4 time frames, and I can set some template. Okay, I can only select 4, of course. And here we go. This is a very interesting tool. Why? This tab-based tool is loading now all these 100 instruments simultaneously, but not only loading and subscribing it, simultaneously all the markets are ticking. So there is no loading. If you loaded this tab chat group once, there is no future loading. So you can just go with your keyboard, with your arrows on the left side. As you can see, there is no loading. You can very fast view your charts, basically. As you can see, this is really a huge and interesting tool. The difference here is in the list. Every time you go something down, you have a very, very short, depending on your time frame and depending on how much you load in your scanner, but you have a very short loading sequence, as you can see, and this loading sequence is removed in the tab chat group. And the tab chat group, you could always also start a strategy, and it would also search for signals. And if a signal appears, it shows up as a green or red dot in the tab right here below. So you could also see signals appearing in the tab chart group, but of course it's not such a nice overview than a list chart group, because you have to always check left and right where my signals are appearing. And that's pretty much it about the tab chart group. Again, you have this group symbols, works the same way like all the others, and you can add, remove charts, save templates, and so on. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to chart gallery. The chart gallery has, let's say, single chart, list chart, and tab chart gallery, and it's very much the same thing I just showed you, only the limit of up to 4 time frames is removed. So you can have a list chart gallery, which is a scanner list on the left side, and an unlimited amount of time frames on the very right side. So not only 4, but up to, I don't know how much would be interesting or useful for you. The only new thing here is, so the only, not new, the only additional thing here is the single chart gallery for instrument list, quite a huge word. And this one allows you to have, let's say, a gallery of charts. So you could say I'm loading now, let's do a small one, the Dow 30, and I want to have, let's say, just one time frame. I can have unlimited amount of time frame. Let's do just one. So let's click OK. And as you can see here, you have now all charts here open and aligned. On the very right side, you have a scroll bar, so you can scroll down to all your charts. If you have, let's say, monitors 2, 3 on top of each other, you could, just simply increase the window size to all the 3, 4 monitors, so you could watch so many symbols simultaneously, basically, as you can see. So this is a huge advantage. It's just one time frame at the moment, but as I see, it's not even one time frame. I forgot to unselect some of them, so it's 4 time frames for each and every symbol I just loaded. And as you could see, the loading is so quick. So AgenaTrader is really a very resource a software which uses its resources very good and has huge performance, depending of course also on your computer. And as you see on the very bottom, I'm pointing my mouse, I'm loading 528 symbols simultaneously. Show me a platform that can do that. All right, let's remove some of them, because my data feed has actually a limit of about 500. So I'm hitting the limits of the data feed, not of the software. All right, the dynamic scanner is something quite interesting as well, and I already explained it. Let's go to default empty, and it doesn't show any charts right now. I can select again the standard session, which has a few single symbols inside. There's a webinar for setup as court and condition as court, which is explaining exactly this stuff with signals and scanning and trading setups. So watch these videos if you want to know more about it. And I just removed the wrong one. Let's reopen the list chart group, because I need the list chart group. Maybe again for the NASDAQ this time. Let's say smaller time frames. Here we go. And now I'm adding again 1 minute, and this time again standard. And here you can find the signals. And if I click now to dynamic scanner, you can see a list of symbols where you have a signal, but all the others which have no signal are not in this list. So with the dynamic scanner, you have now the option to, let's say, prepare a background workspace for your market analysis, for your market screening, for your signal scanning and stuff like that. And in the end, you use the dynamic scanner to simply show you signals, symbols and signals, so you don't have to focus on all the instruments and markets, but simply on your signals and nothing else. And as you can see, everything you did not open is in bold letters. Here the symbol, once you clicked on it, the bold goes back to standard. And you can just go through this and so on and so forth. The charting background was selected by the template again here. So this is the templates you have created. I think this is a template for a list chart group. So you have to create a template for a list chart group of charts you want to see in a way, in a color, in a style with indicators, and so on, and then use this style to show this chart so you have the same view you want to always have. And you can start saving templates also again with this function right here. Templates and changing colors, adding indicators, and so on and so forth. Everything in the toolbar was explained in the video, as I mentioned. Okay, so this is the dynamic scanner, which only works together with the list chart group because it needs the analyzer here, this scanner here, to find symbols, signals, and then you can show it sorted for you in this dynamic scanner. And that's pretty much everything what is there to talk about different charting views. I will summarize what I have discussed with you guys, and then we will end the webinar. So what we have discussed is that you find charts in main new chart container, and you have up to 5 different ways of viewing charts, or even 6 ways. So you have the single chart. The single chart is a chart, a symbol, security, futures contract, forex symbol, and so on, in one time frame. You have the group. This is also a single security and so on in a group of charts. So you have up to 4 time frames you can show for one symbol. Then you have a list chart group, which has a list, which is also the scanner, and it can show up to 4 time frames simultaneously. You have the tab chart group, which is again a list of charts in up to 4 time frames. And then we had the gallery, which is having the single chart gallery, the list chart gallery, tab chart gallery, which is basically the same thing as single chart group, list chart group, and tab chart group, only with an unlimited amount of time frames, additional charts you can show. And we opened up the single chart gallery for instrument list, where you can show a gallery of charts in unlimited amount of time frames. And last but not least, we had the dynamic scanner, which works together only with the list chart group. And once you have found in an analyze and in scanner a signal, the dynamic scanner can sort out the signals for you and only view you symbols which have an existing signals and not the others. So very interesting stuff. The last thing I'd like to show here, because we talked a little bit about these list-based charts. In AgenaTrader, you can create your own lists or edit lists via Tools, Settings, Instrument Score. Instrument Score stands for Instrument and Markets. And you can, again, like we had here, search for markets like the Apple and stuff like that and find some instrument data. Or you can go to the second tab right here and create a list. So you can create, let's say, my favorite markets, let's call it markets, and then start adding your favorite markets. This would be my favorite markets, whatever, more the techie guy. And once you have added them, you can save it and then use this instrument list to open a list chart group, to open a tab chart group, and so on. So you create your own lists, or you search for existing lists here, right there, and yeah, you edit them or just, view them basically. So this is a list of charts, and you need these lists to open list-based charts. That's pretty much the way you have to do it. And another cool feature, one last thing I will show, is that you don't have to create stuff lists. You can import them from us. So you go to Tools, Settings, instruments, markets, and mappings. And here you can, for example, for all the existing connections, like I have AgenaTrader and Google, if you have added additional connections like interactive brokers and stuff like that, you will also find them here. So you can add the mappings. Mappings is the symbol basically which is allowing to connect your data feed with AgenaTrader. So every broker data feed has a different way on how the symbol is called and how it receives data, and this can be imported. And you can import instrument lists, general ones here, or broker-based lists or data feed-based lists like I can do here. So if you don't have instrument lists yet, go to the import functions and import some, or go to the instruments court and create some. That's it. We had this topic quite quickly, but it was not so huge, but very, very interesting, I hope, for you. If you don't have any further questions, thank you for watching this video, or watching or joining this webinar. This is the last webinar for this year. The next one is, I think it's the 18th of January. We will send out invitations with the new topics. I hope you will join it again, and I see and hear you there. Till this time, have a good Christmas, have some great holidays, have a great new year, and enjoy yourself. Goodbye.